Well, my ambition is to be rich. Well, I mean, if you got money, you got everything, haven't you?
Well, I don't suppose I've got any ambition. Stay as I am, but more money.
Now, Mike's a teddy boy, and teddy boys aren't popular with the public.
Teddy boys, I don't like them at all. I don't like their style of dress. It's just to prove what they are, and they're very ignorant. I think if their parents watched over them a bit better when they were smaller, they might grow up to be good citizens. I blame their parents. I'll give you an instance of teddy boys. I was going to the chemist the other day for medicine for my children. It was rather a deserted street, and there was about 6 of them coming along, and they thought they'd have a go at me. But I singled out the ringleader, and I give him a real good punching on the nose, and I don't think he'll ever attempt to interfere with anybody else in future.
Junior gangster, she calls them. But some surely just like to look tough, not act tough. Take Mike. He's 17. If you ask him why he wears Edwardian clothes, he says,
Well, it's definitely smarter. It definitely attracts the birds. I mean, when you put it on, it kind of gives you a superior feeling, a confidence, like. And people look at you. About this acting tough. I mean, it's no good creeping down the road, door to door, all meek and humble, because the fellas are just going to say, well, look at that punk, let's have him.
Every night after work, he's an improver welder. Mike waits for his friend Pat, sometimes under the walls of a bombed church. Waiting there, I said to him, I'd noticed he often talked about Africa. I said, had he always wanted to be a welder?
No, see, when I was a nipper, I went to some grammar school, and I used to read these travel books, and I was reading one, and I goes and I sees the geography master, and I chats to him about it. And he told me some idea he had about a kind of travelling hospital, you know, caravan with a couple of doctors and nurses, and taking all these rare drugs to the outlying villages. That's what I wanted to do, but, well, that was when I was a kid.
And now? After all, it isn't too late. He could still go to Africa. But say that to him, and he only replies,
Yeah, I know, but who wants to go to Africa now? Now I'm happy as I am.
They enjoy talking, Pat and Mike. They argue and discuss for hours. Pat, for example, has views on religion.
Now me, I believe there is a God and there is such a place as heaven. But then what puts me off of going to churches, that you see people come home from church, get drunk, start swearing, they've got the cheek to look at you and say, oh, look at that teddy boy, I'm sure he'll go to hell when he dies.
Pat's also got views about girls. His ideal girl, he says, is a big, dozy blonde. Both Pat and Mike have what they call steadies. Pat's friend, Marion, Maureen, Mike's girl. Girls are the number one topic of conversation. And then, of course, there's clothes, appearance. They call men who wear conventional clothes peasants. On certain days, they do certain things. 3 nights a week are reserved for their steadies. Pat and Mike often discuss marriage. They don't much like the idea of it, but are afraid they'll come to it in the end.
10 years' time, what would I be like? Well, I suppose I'll be married. I don't want to get married, but I suppose I will. Couple of kids, working for a living, finishing at 5:30, going home.
On certain nights, non-girl nights, their design for living calls for at least one visit with the gang to a pin-table saloon. Usually, Pat and Mike stick to their own gang and district. And when they do go outside, say to the teenage canteen at the Elephant and Castle, they're careful not to stare at the local girls.
Shake, rattle and roll.
Next door to the canteen is a pub. This might have made the idea of a teenage canteen unworkable. But the publican is a man of understanding.
Well, my opinion of the teddy boys, they're all right. They're not so bad as they're painted. Don't believe in all the press talk you read about. It's a build-up for the papers. The teddy boy, today, in my opinion, is he gets good money and he dresses himself accordingly. I have no trouble with them in here. They come in here for a drink. I've told them they're not allowed to drink intoxicating liquors for the simple reason I can't discern who's 20 and who's 16.
Pat finds his job a bit monotonous, but he doesn't go out and find something better. He says there aren't any interesting jobs for boys of his age. So, in the meantime, says Pat, make the most of your boyhood. Lark around. Not very serious. But ordering a new suit, that is serious. And serious, too, is a Saturday afternoon visit to the barber's. Pat's mother likes his hairstyle and suit. His stepfather, too, isn't against his way of dressing. But Mike's mother and father don't approve at all.